We've got 3 homes on this ranch, each with its own well and a completely different setup. Today, I'll take you on a tour of each home and show you how we're getting waterway out here and what happens when the grid goes down. Just to get you caught up to speed on the lay of the land here, we have 106 acres with 3 homes. We nicknamed them Castle, Kolob Lodge, and Treehouse for ease of reference. Castle is our primary home that we built from the ground up on 20 acres, and then we bought Kolob Lodge and Treehouse from neighbors when they were selling. We then remodeled them, and now we short-term rent them on Airbnb and on our website, kolobcanyons.com. So let's start with Castle. This is completely off-grid. We've got 44 kV, 450 watt solar panels that create a 20 kilowatt array that powers this 95 kilowatt hour battery bank. All of that powers the house, including this well. The well pump is about 350 feet down in the aquifer. All of that runs underneath the driveway here. We've got the water and the electrical wiring for the pump, which runs into this pressure controller box here. Comes up from underneath. This is a Pentair pressure controller. It's at 59 psi at the moment. And that all runs down to this subterranean basement area. This is actually a walkout basement. So subterranean on 3 sides. And you can see that we've got the water coming in with the shutoff valve right there. That then runs over to the other side of the house where we've got another shutoff valve so that if it ever leaks in between there anywhere, we can completely isolate that run that goes through the wall. We've got a check valve here and the pressure gauge. This pressure gauge sends a signal back to the controller to tell the well pump to turn on when the pressure inside the house gets too low. Now, I know this is a small pressure tank. We have a much larger one out in the barn. And this is definitely on my to-do list to install in the home because the less often the well pump kicks on and has that initial draw, the less the inverters and batteries are getting beat up. So this would make a lot of sense. I just need to get around to doing it. Back to the mechanical room downstairs. This water heater is nothing special really, except we have a recirculation pump. That's a really nice feature. Keeps hot water circulating through the pipes at all times so that when you go to the tap or turn the shower on, you have hot water instantly instead of waiting for it. This is a thermal expansion tank that just takes some of the pressure from that heated water, gives it somewhere to go. This is our primary filter coming from the well. This catches all the sediment. It doesn't take out the iron, calcium, or magnesium. The soft water system does that. But this really does pick up any sand or larger particles. We've got these shutoff valves on either side, so I can just turn the pressure off from either direction, release the pressure that's just in that little short section there, remove that without making a big mess, and clean or change that filter. This is the resin tank, which is part of our soft water system. And this is the brine tank. This has the salt in it. And this salt brine solution flushes through the other tank and cleans the resin of all of the particulates that it's picked up as the water's been passing through. It's a pretty ingenious system. Then that flushed out brine goes down the drain, keeping your filter clean and keeping your water consistently soft and clean. We do have very hard water in the ground here, so this system is absolutely crucial. The water coming out of the tap is perfectly safe. You could drink it. We certainly don't mind bathing, doing laundry and all that. But for drinking water, we do like redundancy. So we're using the Berkey with its 4 charcoal filters. And my wife, Maggie, really likes the Aqua True system, reverse osmosis, which has a little filter that also reintroduces minerals back into the water because they're all removed through that process. Under the sink, we have our little InSinkerator instant hot water heater that has another filter. And that's really nice when you want to make teas. You have instant near boiling water. And on the other side, it's just filtered water. But we are going to be eliminating the Berkey and the AquaTrue from the counter and putting a full reverse osmosis system under the sink. So stay tuned for that. Outside, we've got another 360 gallons of stored water just in case, for example, the well pump ever goes out. And that has happened before. I can tell you about that in another video. But redundancy is key. We've got solar. If something happens to the solar, we've got a grid tie we could rely on while we fix the solar. And if everything goes out, we want to put a generator behind the barn to charge the batteries if the solar and the grid aren't available. So the more backup plans you have, the better. So let's take a ride down to Treehouse and I'll show you what we've got going on down there. Treehouse is booked year-round and this is a back-to-back. So someone checked out at 10 and we have another guest checking in at 4. I'll give you a quick tour. We have these 2 big industrial water heaters with a recirc pump here. That keeps the water at the tap nice and hot. We've got the PEX piping that we replaced all the original copper with. And we've got this sediment filter, very similar to what I showed you over at Castle, where we can clean out all that grime coming up from the well. And we've got all various shutoff valves to allow me to do that fairly easily. Now this system is very similar. We have a little bit larger water softener system in this home. And I won't go over all the components because it's very similar to what I just showed you at Castle. But the main point with Treehouse is that we have this vulnerability, and that is that we are on the grid. So when the grid goes down, we lose power and we lose water. Now the well is way down the hill, so we'll take a drive over there and I'll show you what we have going on there. But we have a separate meter for that well. This is the pole. Comes across this little dedicated box here, little dedicated meter. And that's strictly for the well. Look what we have here, the graveyard of well pumps. That's what they look like. They've got this little mesh along the bottom there. This slides down that pipe and sits right in the water. Here's another older well pump. They're hot right now because they've been sitting in the sun. So electricity runs from that dedicated box over to this Pentair controller. This is the same pressure controller we have on all three homes. This controls the well pump. The problem is that this is on grid. I should build a proper little well house here with this pump inside, or this well controller inside, and then on the roof I can put solar. And so while we'll have a generator up at the main house for continuity of the electricity at the outlets and lighting, we'll have a dedicated mini solar system with roof mounted panels on this little shed that will have a battery, and when the electricity gets turned off or we lose power from the grid, we'll automatically have uninterrupted power coming from the batteries in the solar system for our well, so they don't lose water at Treehouse. So that's the plan, and we'll have to get that done, and I will definitely do an episode on that, hopefully soon. Kolob Lodge is our last stop. Let's head over there. Okay, so this is the well at Lodge. I've got someone staying in Lodge right now, so I won't go inside and show you the filtration and water softener. Very similar to what we have in the other homes though. But out here we've got this wellhead, and we've got the conduit that runs from the well pump down underground over to this concrete bunker. And the concrete bunker houses the pressure controller and all the valves. It's underground, so it's protected from the cold weather and any tampering from animals. Some of those valves run up to the house, and some run over to the various hydrants and some irrigation that's over on the other side of the property. This home, unlike Treehouse, is able to maintain water flow even when the grid goes down. This is a 500-gallon dedicated tank for this generator, and there's also another 500-gallon propane tank for the cooking and other needs of the home. So we have 1,000 gallons of propane and 500 dedicated to this generator. So that could run the whole home, including the well pump, for probably several weeks. If you're planning your off-grid build, don't just obsess on the solar power, obsess on the water too. The power is nice and we all want continuity of energy, but the well water is what will keep you alive. Let me know in the comments how you're getting water out to where you live. Is it a well like this, or is it a gravity-fed spring? Do you have cisterns? Is it a rain catchment system? I'd love to hear. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you following along, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more on how we're living off-grid on this mountain. See you next week. Right now I look like this because I'm fully hydrated, but after about 3 days of no water, I'd look something more like this.